Hello and welcome to Mask of Nyarlathotep episode 26. We have broken the 1/4 mark of 100, whatever significance that might have. All right, so let's pick back up as a reminder, since there is some time urgency of some sort at least. It is February 16th. That's a Monday. It is evening by the time you have settled into the safe house in the Cotswolds. So it's kind of a nice evening out there as Shelley works on the car and the rest of you settle in. So, what is the plan? Your guys are kind of holing up out here. We don't have to play hour by hour, certainly. I'm not sure what it is exactly that you're going to decide you're waiting for, and what needs to be done. I know that Thaddeus has to get the money situation straightened out and finalized. He's kind of initiated some things, but there will be more to do on that end. Beyond that, it's kind of up to you.
You mean other than drinking
Well,
whiskey?
That goes without saying.
Shelley is going to really try to make sure that this car is not going to. She's going to kind of give it the Shelley treatment, and I think also thinking back on the last time they were really in a bad scrape, she's going to try to design a miner's helmet type flashlight. Just strapping some flashlights to helmet in case they end up going in at the dark. People won't have to give up a hand in order to use it.
I'd say that's a pretty straightforward thing for her to design.
I don't know if duct tape's in existence yet, but that's basically all it requires.
I don't believe it is. We can certainly look that up. That sounds a little unlikely. But there would certainly be something you could do to create a flat lamp kind of thing, and maybe even screw it into a helmet or something like that. Since you have a little time, you can do it right.
And she seems to have a bit of a workshop here, so.
Yep. Yes, as I said, it looks neglected. Probably hasn't been used in a good 5 years or so, maybe more. But there are some decent tools.
So yeah, that's what she's doing, and it might seem a little bit odd. It's almost as if she is secluding herself deliberately, trying to stay busy.
Yep. Well, Sarah, your host, certainly doesn't bother you. She's not you very quickly can see she's not a very nosy person. In fact, she's kind of withdrawn, and doesn't engage with any of you too much unless you seek her out. The house is big enough that she's got enough farm type duties to take care of that she doesn't hover around you. She doesn't ask nosy questions. She just kind of leaves you to yourselves, and other than to make breakfast and some of the meals, which so Shelley's got some projects
In terms of game mechanics, I'd like to get this car to the point where if it were in a car chase with, similar to the other combat, where it wouldn't have a disadvantage.
Okay. All right, we'll give you a shot at that. The longer you have to work on that, the better your chance. And we'll see how it holds up when you actually kind of decide to give it a test.
That's fair.
Assuming you actually, don't need it before that. Who knows? All right. What about Thaddeus and Natalia?
Natalia is gonna spend. She's gonna spend some of her time, actually kind of training a bit. Not really knowing what to expect with confronting Gavigan and whoever he has with him. Probably outside on the farm if there's anything to kind of, punch. She's gonna do some training. I don't know if Alan wants to participate with her.
Well,
you might want to avoid that.
Have Shelly make a blow-up doll of Gavigan for you to punch.
Yeah.
Use the scarecrow.
Yeah.
Much. Beat up a
Yeah,
scarecrow.
you could punch out the you could probably fashion some punching bag type stuff. There's lots of, things lying around this farm. You could take an old sack and, fill it with sand or something and hang it from a rafter and punch that.
She'd probably spend some of her time doing that. The other time would be spent of going over the manuscript that she still has. And she'd probably see if Alan has any questions or wants any answers about what's going on. Probably give him her notes on everything that's been going on if he wants to go over them.
Yeah, he would certainly want to read all of that, and we don't have to play all that out, but he'd certainly be asking you questions and clarifications, and you can see the more he finds out, the more concerned he is. It's a little hard to read. You can try a psychology roll to see if you can. You were ready with that right on the spot. You would say he is not regretting his decision, but you can see he didn't quite realize what he was getting into. He's not as talkative as he usually is. So you can see he's digesting a lot of it and thinking about it, and you catch him a few times kind of lost in thought looking out the window or something, and he didn't notice that you came up on him, or
Yeah. Besides that, I know with Thaddeus, he's been having trouble sleeping. Up to Natalia at all, but she kind of offer to speak with him. Maybe see if she can help, because she's pretty concerned for his health as he seems to be deteriorating.
Yeah, he has not been sleeping well. Okay, so maybe you spend some time. Is Thaddeus receptive to to Natalia's attempts to kind of? It seems like he may very well perceive that it's sort of almost a psychotherapeutic kind of.
Basically, it is.
Yeah. I'm sure you're trying to be subtle about it.
I was trying to be as subtle as possible, but really trying to analyze and try
Well, you can make a psychotherapy check for me.
Oh
Let's
boy.
see. Let's see how well you do on that.
Just psychology?
Isn't there a psychotherapy
There's
check?
psychoanalysis.
Oh, sorry, psychoanalysis. Yeah, my bad. The other one, the other psycho.
Oh!
Ooh, you do it so well, Thaddeus. You don't even really quite realize that she's using a methodology. um, so well done, Natalia.
I'm sure he's also a little more receptive since he's been drinking the laudanum and the whiskey.
Yeah, you're also you're a little out of it. Um, so yeah, you find yourself almost like if you've ever had what is it? Put the gas that puts you. I forget what it is.
Nitrous oxide.
It kind of makes you want to talk. It's almost like a truth serum. it you find yourself loosened up a little bit and a little more willing to talk than you would maybe ordinarily. And so Thaddeus, you can be open. I think you'd probably tell Natalia. You haven't probably been telling other people this, and you may not even have been thinking it so much yourself, but you have been having dreams about what you saw in Peru, and it has been speaking to you in your dreams and telling you that you should have just come to it when it called you, that it would have been so much simpler, and that you're just dragging this out.
Yeah, he when she sat down next to him, depending how she opened up the conversation, he would just kind of probably first kind of like small talking, right? And then he would, start breaking into the Peruvian stuff as he takes a sip of his whiskey. Do you remember the temple?
Talia would nod while sitting close but across from Thaddeus, drink in hand. Yes, I remember us being there.
And he's gonna stop, and I think I told you about the thing that was in the wall.
You were always fairly vague about this thing in the wall. What was it exactly?
It's like a black bulbous man. But the odd thing is that's all I saw. But now in my dreams, it has a voice.
Voice.
Yeah, it's telling me we should just went to it in the first place. I mean, between that and the dream about Frank is. But I still don't understand what exactly it's. Besides from wanting us to go to it, maybe it's trying to still get out.
Do you think that it is trapped in there and trying to reach out to us? Or I guess you, in this case.
I think it would try to reach out to anybody who's receptive to it. But I definitely think it is trapped. That was the whole plan for us, was to take down the defenses that were in the wall, the goal, right?
Natalia looks down a drink. She swirls it in her hand before taking a swig, looking back up to Thaddeus. It, if the goal was for us to free it, and it is calling to you now, saying that you need to come to it now, or you should have.
Should have. Almost like it, by time I should have came to it, and you know, maybe it's still chasing us, and it wanted us to go to it instead of what we did.
Hmm. Maybe it is not chasing us, but it is trying to draw us back, draw you back, that is. And it is using your dreams when you sleep to try and influence you to bring you back into its fold.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that being a possibility, but then you kind of do a little smirk. I don't see myself traveling to Peru anytime soon, or if at all ever.
Natalia gives a bit of a smile to Thadia. Yes, I do wish myself back to Peru. I I know it's difficult, that is, and these dreams are very, very persistent. And I know you have not been getting very much sleep, and I see you are deteriorating, but what you need to hold on to is that they are indeed just dreams. Try to, when you sleep, hold on to the fact that you are here. You are in this reality and not in the one in your head. Try to push back against it.
Hmm. Yes, that's seems like the obvious answer, right? I mean, I think that's what I try to do, but it's hard to say. And he finishes off his whiskey, looks at the bottle of laudanum, and opens it up and takes a gulp of it and closes it up. Maybe if my nerves were more at ease.
I think that maybe you should try, that is something that might help you control these dreams a bit better. If you have exactly a better idea of what they are, could you write them down after you wake up? Write down what you see, what you feel, what you hear.
Well, I guess I could. I mean, do I really want to know that all of it? I
It,
mean,
it is true, it might be unnerving to see this, but it might apply some sort of logic. Right now, while you dream, there's only emotional responses. It is fear. It is the horror of seeing what you did, a call. But if you take time to think about it, to write it down, it might assist in you coming to terms what you dream and being able to not be so emotional when you're asleep and be able to rest better.
well, yes, that could be, but also it could be what was we're now. I think once we handle the Gavigan and the stress goes away, maybe this will go away as well. Don't you think?
It might, it might. But she kind of reaches a hand out and takes his, and she squeezes it. I want you to do this for me, okay? I believe this will at least help, even if it is for a short time. We won't be here long, and soon we will be rid of Gavigan, but we need you as strong as possible, and doing this might help you sleep before then.
He's gonna kind of get a little smirk, and his hand gets squeezed. Perhaps I could try. That couldn't hurt, right? I mean, it's just a journal.
Natalia nods. Yes, just a journal. The words cannot hurt you. And once you think about it, once you analyze it, I have read things that if you are able to get a better hold of exactly what you are dreaming, then you are further able to control what you see while you sleep. This might help.
Yeah. Yes, it probably will. I have no doubt about that. I mean, I definitely want to give it a try, and I think the more maybe it can help, maybe I can see something that I missed.
She nods. Good. Good. I'm glad you are trying this.
And the dinner bell would ring at that point to summon everybody from their various places. This becomes a routine over however many more days you're there. She rings a bell so that wherever you happen to be on the farm, you can hear and come to the meals. As I said, Sarah's a very quiet person. You can see, she keeps a framed photograph. Afraid not. She keeps a framed photograph of her her late husband, who you can see him in a British Army uniform. You gather he must have been killed in the war. She just offers up a prayer, and you can tell she is Catholic from all of the stuff around the house and from her evening, from her meal prayer. And she doesn't really raise any questions during dinner, although she glances at you all maybe a little furtively throughout the meal with some curiosity. If you, Natalia, you can make a spot hidden check for me if you would. That's fine. So, do you discuss anything in front of her, or is there a policy of basically not talking around her? Hello? Did I lose everyone?
Oh no, sorry.
Oh.
I thought Slip was talking.
Oh.
Is Slip talk? Oh no,
yeah.
Slip. Are you talking? I see you lighting up.
I accidentally
Oh.
muted myself. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was so confused. I'm like, where's Slip?
I don't know how I did it, but I pressed that button on accident. Anyway, yeah,
It's a
Shelley
new headset.
would come to dinner she's washed her hands as well as she can, but she's still got grease smudges that she's missed here and there. She definitely would not bring up anything that they were planning, although she'd maybe mention, some improvements she'd made to the car.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, I think she'd ask some questions and try to engage Sarah in conversation, but she seems pretty distracted. Seems kind of like just focused on eat and get back to her projects.
Yep.
Talia would, since kind of Shelley getting back and then being here, whenever Talia's seen Shelley, she's been very kind of friendly towards her, and she tries to chat her up during dinner just about what she's working on, what improvements she's made. Even like just kind of going into it, even if it's just a casual mention of, oh, I fixed a light here, then Natalia would kind of be like, oh, how'd you do that, kind of thing, trying to be as engaging as possible with Shelley.
Yep.
I would say that would totally work. Shelley would, be very enthusiastic about talking about what she's working on and what she hopes to do to the car. She's optimistic that she can, take this junker and make it a Rolls Royce at its core. And, this car's not going to let us down, if, not like the other one, not like that. And then she just sort of peters off and just kind of shakes her head. Yeah, it's important to have reliable transportation.
Of course, I'm looking forward to seeing how the improvements you made. Maybe I could, I know you're very secretive with what you were doing, but maybe you could explain to me at some point about what you've done so far. Maybe point it out.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's just basic mechanical stuff. I mean, I've taken some shortcuts and filed some things down so they run smoother. But come out to the garage whenever you like.
I looked forward to it, Jetty.
I'll make a grease monkey of you yet, she says with a little smile.
All right. Well, dinner ends, and Sarah clears unless anybody offers to help, and then it's evening. So it looks like Natalia and Shelley are gonna work on the car a little bit.
We did stop at a pharmacy and pick up some things for Thaddeus, didn't we?
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yes,
Before
he's
it
been
gets too
indulging.
So for the night, Thaddeus, why don't you give me a sanity check with 2 bonus dice, owing to the attention you've gotten.
You're welcome.
There you go. You actually sleep well tonight.
Must be all that laudanum.
Could be. But you sleep a dreamless sleep as far as you remember in the morning. So what's the plan now? So I know Shelley's working on some stuff. Natalia, you're kind of spending some time with Alan and going over your notes and that. Thaddeus, are you going to try to go in to the city at some point to finish up the banking transaction?
Yeah, Thaddeus would definitely have to finish up because I think he decided to take the loan. But he also wants to take the pistol out to practice as well.
Okay.
See his
you can
aim.
certainly do that.
But he would want to get, obviously early as possible for the banking.
You know, Sarah's husband was a soldier. Does she happen to have any extra ammunition?
Are you asking her?
If Shelley saw Thaddeus taking the pistol out, that would definitely occur to her.
Right. Um, Thaddeus, you're using your Luger, right?
Whichever I got from, because the Luger is still in customs, if I remember
Yeah, we
correctly.
had 238s, but I don't know
Right.
what.
Right. Let's see. Yeah, I think the British used 38 revolver ammunition. I'm not actually 100% sure. So we'll say yes, there is some ammunition that she just kind of she comes back with a couple of boxes of bullets. The cardboard is worn and dusty. She dug them out of somewhere.
Oh, this is wonderful. If there's anything around the house I could do to help, reimburse you for these, I'd be happy to.
She says, "It's a farm, there's always work to be done."
Well, point out what's most urgent.
Alright, she'll give you some little projects to do. It'll keep you busy for a bit.
Shelley will take the ammo out to Thaddeus. Thaddeus. She kind of holds up the buck. Look what I've managed to find. A bit of a
Well, I'll be. That's that's pretty nice. Where'd you find those at?
Sarah had it. Just occurred to me with her husband having been a soldier that she might have some around, and as it turns out, she did. So, yes, I think maybe you can work some of the rust off of your skills without worrying too much about running out.
Yes, and he'll kind of smirk. I must say, I'm kind of rusty, so definitely the more the merrier.
Now, how are you feeling?
I got the good. As far as I don't remember any dreams, so it must have been pretty good. I didn't wake up all in a sweat or nothing.
Well, that's good. Maybe it's the country air.
Yes, that's. I like to think it is. This is pretty beautiful out here. Reminds me of a bit of home.
It is nice. I grew up in Vermont. It is sort of similar. I have to say, for me, staying busy, keeping my mind busy, that's what keeps me sleeping soundly. So, if I were a doctor, that's what I'd prescribe.
Yes. Well, indeed, whatever it is, it's working. I should be able to be back at full strength before long, I'm sure.
I hope so. We need you, Thaddeus, and not just because of your deep pocket.
There's another smile. Yes, the deep pockets does come in handy, though, doesn't it?
It does. But I just want you to know that's not the only thing that we appreciate about you. And, well, I guess I can only speak for myself, but I'm sure Natalia feels the same.
I'm sure. But I do appreciate it.
Okay then, have fun. Try to aim away from the garage, 'cause that's where I'm gonna be.
Indeed, I don't want to shoot. I might hit the car as well. And then where we, let alone if I hit you, it would be even more straights.
Well, I trust your aim to be a little better than that, but... Alright then, I'll leave you to it.
Well, I hope you have a good morning.
You too. And she kind of scuttles off, either toward the garage or toward whatever project Sarah had pointed out. Something with plumbing or, electricity or whatever.
Okay.
Thaddeus would just reload the pistol and start walking back to where he was shooting at.
All right. So that day would pass, unless there's anything other specifically that you would like to do.
All right, so let's get the timing. The estimated date for the new moon is how many days away? And I think it's the Friday before that your money's going to come in, estimated. Am I right?
So it is the 17th today. The new moon is supposed to be here, so I'll
The
put a little...
22nd, 23rd, right?
Yes, the night of the 22nd would be that. So let's put a little... reminder there for you. Yes, and Thaddeus, you do expect your money to be in by Friday.
Yeah, if there's any way that they get, when they make it to the bank, he would attempt to.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't, then that's basically... I mean, I think the best we can hope is to get there on Saturday before they get there. So, because otherwise we're going to be doing this without the IRA.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I think we should maybe give the Irish a chance to prep some things. Like, do we want to go with our drive a canoe up and try to go around the whole gate situation?
That's if we're going in itself. We're trying to basically, oh, you mean do that beforehand? Like sneak in now?
Oh, well, as soon as... No, I mean, I just would like them to have it prepped so they didn't have to hunt one up. Well, I think the hope is to get him before he gets up there, but we don't know when he's leaving.
Yeah,
We may end up having to infiltrate.
I know we asked them to keep eyes on him, if they could. And basically we're going to try and get him on the way, because that compound...
Yeah, I think getting him on the way is definitely the way to go. But
yeah,
back up, we want to wait.
preparing. I think we want to weigh in anyway, because we want those plans, don't we?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I just thought of what Shelley's going to do.
Oh, no.
She suddenly has an epiphany. She's going to basically come up with road spikes, caltrops.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, that'll take a little bit of work, but it can be done. Yeah, you might need... let's see. You might need a welder torch. I'm not sure if there would be something like that here to really make...
Well, if there's not, then I'm going to
Yeah.
go with Thaddeus to town and get
So
me...
go ahead and make a luck check to just let's see, I'll take you back, and you can make a luck check to see if there happens to be something. Yeah, no. Yeah, you're gonna have to go get something.
Okay, well, she'll bring it up the next day.
Okay.
Natalia's gonna spend, some of the day making more notes, kind of based off of what Thaddeus said last night, and she's gonna spend a lot of her time probably taking, I don't know if Alan's finished reading the notes, but she might take them from him and just gonna start going over them, writing more things down related to what he had mentioned last night. their session.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, there's plenty of notes for you to take. Alan isn't reading them all at the same moment, so
Yeah.
yeah, you can. That's no problem.
Yeah, she seems very. There's a bit of excitement and a bit of concern, kind of in the way that she's looking over things.
Yeah. Um. Alan does ask you at one point. You're looking through all these notes, and and he kind of puts some down, and he just kind of looks at you, and he says, "Natalia, what are you hoping to accomplish here?"
She has notes in her hand, and she looks to Alan, pausing for a moment before putting the notes back down on the table. Well, it is honestly a good question. You see, these this group, these people took away, well, someone that meant a great deal to me, and they've taken more people since, and seeing what they've been doing to others, their sacrifices, people dying for this Black Pharaoh. It's something I've asked myself many times, Alan, what exactly I'm doing, why I'm doing, why don't I just go home to Svetlana and, well, live out my life there with her. But this, whatever it exactly is, which I think, based on what Thaddeus was saying yesterday, they are trying to, I think they're trying to free it. I think that's what they're doing. But we have to...
What does that mean? I'm just not quite sure what's going on here, honestly.
I know. Whatever it is, I know we have to stop it.
But you don't suppose there's a chance he's just crazy? And that it's all in his head, and these people are just like any other primitive religion that just imagines that there's some dark gods they're going to commune with. I mean, this is England. We've had witches and devils for for centuries.
Natalia shakes her head. No, I do not think it is in their heads. This is just too large, Alan. There are too many people involved, too many governments involved for it to just be some crazy religion, something that a group of people believe, something false. I've seen some terrifying things, especially in Peru. It's monstrosity. It was Mendoza, and
Oh. All right.
I
trust you know what you're doing. He's looking at you like you, but you're not sure he does. He's just looking at you very curiously.
Natalia is gonna I don't know what I'm doing, Alan. I don't know how anyone can prepare for something like this. Sometimes I think the same thing. Maybe it's all false. Maybe I'm digging too deep and this is all just crazy. But
I mean, you could get killed over nothing, really.
I
So,
could.
I mean, I'm not doubting that this Gavigan fella's a bad man, whatever else he's doing, but I don't. Is it worth throwing your life away if it comes to that? I mean, I'm fighting for a cause. You understand? It's something concrete. It's something we could actually achieve. It's real. And you can see he just doesn't know what to say next.
Talia takes the drink that's near her and takes a sip, putting it down and looking to Alan. I understand you're fighting for something, but in a way this is fighting for something too. There's been many people who have suffered for this, and it's not just Gavigan doing this. It is people like that Sophia woman. It is um, it is what happened in New York with that the red bandanas people. It's what's the what happened in when they went down to the Nile with the Carlisle expedition. It's everything, and there's so many people who have died because of this, Alan. So many people who've been sacrificed, whether it's to a god that exists or doesn't. But there have been so many deaths, so many more that are going to come out of this if people like me and Thaddeus and Shelley don't do anything. People like Habiba and Kaviri will suffer. And after learning about this, I can't stand by and just let this happen.
He looks at you a moment and just kind of nods. You can see it's not a happy nod, but he nods. He says, I should probably go help Sarah with the chores.
Natalia.
We should earn our keep a little bit. And he just kind of turns a little awkwardly and walks away.
And she sits back in the chair, taking a long drink, putting her hand on her head before going back over the notes, a bit slower this time. Not with any doubt or anything, just more bit of disappointment in of Alan just not understanding.
Yeah, he's pretty distant for the rest of the day. You can see he kind of busies himself with tasks to be done. And that day will pass. And Thaddeus, you can give me another sanity check with 2 bonus dice again.
That's more like it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, the dream continues. You don't remember all the details of it, but this time it's the same voice, but it's Frank doing the talking. And at the end, you distinctly remember him saying that if you had just done what you were supposed to do, I'd still be alive. And you wake up.
And one of the first things Thaddeus would do was go for his whiskey and take a eye opener with it. Give a big old slug. Sit and stare for a while.
Mm-hmm. It's a rainy day, and you have when you guys rise, you already have visitors. The farm has several men kind of stationed around it. Alan is in the main room. Sarah's there. Whoever's probably the first to rise. You can see they're just kind of talking, having some tea and some light breakfast in the main room. And Alan just kind of looks up. Who probably gets up first?
I know Natalia would be up fairly early. Probably was going to go outside for a run, but saw the rain and decided to stay inside.
Yeah, Shelley'd be up pretty early too.
Well, you two probably get dressed and go in together then for breakfast, and you see them sitting at the table, and this one says, "Good morning, ladies."
Good morning. Natalia will take a seat. Look to Shelley, look to them.
Shelley looks over at Sarah, trying to, see if she's upset or seems nervous that these men are here.
You can try a psychology roll for me on that one. She doesn't seem upset. She certainly doesn't have any obvious visible signs of nervousness or fear or anything like that.
Shelley will just look back at Natalia, kind of give a very slight shoulder shrug. Good morning. See you have visitors. I won't be in your hair too much longer. I'll get out and
Sarah
get on the
says,
project.
she kind of looks at the two of them and she says, well, they're here for you, not me. And she says, I'll be leaving you all to have your chat. And she says, I'll get you some breakfast. And she goes off to the kitchen to get you some things. When she leaves, this one says, we thought we'd come by and begin to discuss plans, assuming, of course, that Mr. Pepin comes through with his promised funding.
I think he's headed to town soon to try to speed that up. She looks over at Natalia. Have you met these men?
Natalia nods. Yes, these are the ones that we spoke to about dealing with Gavigan.
Oh, okay. She lets out a little bit of a breath. She hadn't been sure what to say, how much to say. Well, I think we are going to try to take him on the road. I have some plans for disabling his cars, but his travel plans are pretty critical. Are people keeping an eye on him in London?
Not yet.
If he makes it to his estate, it's going to be considerably more difficult. We may need a small boat as a backup. so that we can navigate the marsh and go around the walls of his estate. As well, in case that we aren't able to get in front of him in his travel, but that would definitely be best. Is that right, Natalia? Is that what we were discussing yesterday?
That is the boat plan. There's just too many walls if we head in the front. If we miss out on our chance to confront him on the road. Um, as a backup plan, we were planning on getting boats to, as Shelley said, travel on the marsh and scale only one wall instead of 2 or 3.
Thaddeus would hear the voices out there, so he could join them if he wanted to.
Thaddeus would make himself as ready as he could, and because he was spending a little bit of morning drink, carry a bottle and a glass with him as he heads out. Thought I heard voices. Gentlemen, ladies.
Mr. Pepin? This one just kind of nods. He hasn't said anything yet.
Well, with any luck, I'll be able to make it into the city today and glances at a window and hopefully expedite the process of getting the money ready.
He says that would be excellent. He says, as we were telling your charming companions here, that we thought we would come by and begin to lay whatever plans you had in mind, if we know exactly what we're about.
Do we have a map anywhere of Essex? Or anyway, Shelley gets out her journal and kind of roughs out what she can remember.
Okay.
Showing them kind of the general layout of the estate and the wall and what she means by they would have to bypass the gates by going through the marsh. But if we could set up an ambush, and she just kind of taps a place on the map a few miles down from the estate. And their cars would be disabled. We could be hidden and come out and take them when they weren't expecting it. So she points to a place there. Hide
Yes.
our cars off of the road, maybe.
Thaddeus is going to look at the map. Yes, and preferably somewhere where they can't escape so easily. Not at an intersection.
Oh yes, good point. Hopefully they won't be able to escape at all. Intend to take all of their tires.
Oh? The tires, you say?
I need to get to town. Get an arc welder. Prepare, I don't know what you would call them. Sort of an advanced kind of caltrip. Something, road spikes, something to puncture all the tires on the road.
Ah, splendid. That's a very good idea.
What season is it? Winter? Yeah.
Yeah, it's February, so out there it's going to be chilly, but there shouldn't be snow on the ground. Some of the ground will be hard, but it is very marshy as well, so it's going to be alternating between clumps of, harder earth and very wet, marshy stuff.
Yeah, we'll want to be prepared with food, water, and warm clothing, just in case we're waiting for quite a while.
Do we have any idea what sort of opposition we'll be up against?
Yes. He was traveling with, I think, around 6 men when I left. And he was talking about getting more because, well, he didn't expect an attack from me or us, but he has enemies and had received a threat. So I suspect that there will be 2 cars full. Hopefully not more than 2.
Do we have any idea how they will be armed?
Shelley tries to remember. Does she remember anyone with a shotgun? She probably remembers pistols.
Yeah, she doesn't really remember.
I know
She
there was a shotgun at
remembers-
the house, but I
Yes,
think they're
definitely.
mostly armed with handguns.
She actually didn't see guns very often.
Right. Well, the men who attacked us were armed with 38s.
So you said 6 plus guards, you said, right?
At least that many, yes.
So should we expect 2 cars?
Yes, he had 2 cars before. I stole one, but I don't think he'll have too much of a problem replacing it.
Yes, and Darius leans over and looks at the map. Is there quite some distance between this bridge here and the estate?
I wasn't really allowed to see when we were traveling. I know when we stopped, so she's going to try to look at where there would have been gates and try to remember the distance between the stops and the estate and try to estimate. But
Yeah, it's not very far. It's from that bridge here. I assume you're talking about from the bridge to the estate gate.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking 200 or 300 yards, maybe. It's not that far.
So
Maybe
that
a little
bridge,
more.
that bridge would become a big bridge then. So I'm gonna imagine the water is pretty big as well. So it's not easy for them to cross on foot.
Correct. Yes.
Perhaps if we, and he'll point at the bridge, blow up this bridge when there's a car on top of it. It might eliminate half the problem.
oh,
And then
it'd
we
be
can.
quite close to the estate. I don't know what kind of bridge it is, by the way. I never saw it. It could be wood, it could be stone. She shrugs. I don't know.
I can certainly have a man scout the area.
If he does, he needs to be very careful. Mr. Gavigan is, like I said, he's quite alert to danger at the moment and no doubt has guards posted. I suggest that they would go by water and not try to make it through those gates.
I see.
Maybe it might be too risky.
Binoculars. We need to get some binoculars.
He says, how near is this bridge to the village? He says an explosion could cause unwanted attention, I assume.
Oh,
And certainly would alert the house.
I think an explosion is unfortunately out of the question. We want to take Gavigan out without much fuss, if possible, as little as possible. Alerting the estate is going to cause much more trouble, make it harder to escape, to disappear.
Yes, and it is awfully close, and I'm sure that around the bridge is guarded. I don't think we're gonna be able to get an ambush properly there.
I don't know how many men will actually be left at the estate. Once they got in there, they'd definitely be able to withstand a siege better, but I suspect that Gavigan is going to surround himself with as many of his men as possible, and the men, and she taps the manor, remaining here will be a skeleton crew, mostly domestics. Speaking of domestics, there's a girl there, Dorothy. If conflict should make it to the manor, she isn't involved in this. She's a captive.
I see. Do we expect trouble to make its way to the manor house?
I hope not. What I hope is that if we cut the head off the snake, take care of Gavigan and most of his brutes, that, well, things will kind of fall apart there. They won't really have anyone to lead them, and maybe Dorothy will be able to make her way out. Oh, I wish I could help her.
Natalia will look to Shelley and shake her head. I do not think this is just a snake. I think if we just cut off the one head, others will appear. That is for another discussion. This one pertains to just Gavigan.
Oh, I agree with you, big picture. I just mean, and she just kind of circles the area on the map. This group. Gavigan's flunkies.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Although Arthur will certainly seek revenge at all costs. That man is a fanatic. If Gavigan goes, he probably needs to go too.
Well, he's part of the people in the car, and it's no question. I don't think we should leave any survivors. And if he's in the estate when we went to go look at it, then we can handle him then.
Well, my conscience doesn't really trouble me about this. All these men around Gavigan, they know what he is and what he does. There's no innocence there. Oh, he probably has so much in his house, though.
That is... She looks to the two gentlemen sitting there. Unfortunately, not their problem. It is ours.
No, of course.
Well, taking out most of the men on the way in would be beneficial to us when we go and want to take a look at this estate and find your friend Dorothy.
Although, she looks kind of over at the IRA guys. If your people decided that it was worth the risk, you might find quite a bit of value in the estate that could be used to help fund your cause. He's a wealthy man.
They look at each other.
And definitely not a friend to Ireland.
The Irish one says, "We're not common thieves, but we'll have to give that some thought."
I would think of it more as spoils of war. But we are also not after gain here. When I speak of things that he has. There's information that might be helpful, but that's secondary. We need to take him out.
Very well. Sounds like an ambush on the way. The trick will be timing. Do we know when he'll travel that route? And will we know how to identify him?
I can describe his vehicle. And she describes the very nice car. It's quite recognizable, and there's not many people driving a car that nice, even in London. And I know that he needs to be there by the night of Sunday, but I don't know when he plans to arrive or leave. I would suspect he would be leaving Sunday morning at the latest, possibly on Saturday or Friday. If we had someone watching his movements, it would be very helpful.
Do we know where he is now?
We know his home address, and we know that he typically is at the Penhew Foundation.
There's also I think the Diamondback Club that he frequents.
Oh, this is true. After hours, after work hours, that's where he is. He usually walks there from the Penhew Foundation. So probably finding the car at either his home or at the Foundation will give you the best idea of where he is. He's not the sort of man who's going to ride in a secondary vehicle. He's going to ride in style.
I see. Well, that's good to know. You said he is expecting trouble, however. It's much harder to keep an eye on a man who knows he's likely to be watched.
It's very true. He's expecting trouble from associates of his, however.
I see.
What about... And Shelley looks over at the others. That fellow you mentioned. The Philip person?
Philip. Yes. She kind of thinks from Philip Grinwald. He's a friend of Alice. What about him?
Maybe he could keep an eye on the Penhew Foundation at least, and be able to signal to someone, when Gavigan comes and goes.
She nods. That is a good idea. When you travel into town, that is to solve the money transaction. I'll come with you. I'll see if I can. Did we get like an address for Philip?
I would assume he gave you something, yeah, where he's staying in town.
She'd say, yes, once you travel to town, I'll get in touch with Philip, and then we can organize from there. I know he wants to help, so I hope he'll be eager in this.
Good. It should be fairly safe, and he's not a known associate of ours. Not yet.
Yes, this will be good. So then we can keep better eyes on the movements.
Could set up some sort of signal system when Gavigan leaves Penhew. Philip could leave, and depending on whether he puts his newspaper in the trash can open to a certain section, it would mean he headed to, he was walking, or he was headed back to his house, something like that, and it would make it easy for anyone observing to know. Or if I don't know, he could maybe even call someone if you guys had if you fellows had a number that he could.
That could be arranged, though I like your newspaper idea. It has a little style to it. He's looking at you a little curiously.
I'm sorry, can you repeat what he said?
He just said that a phone call could be arranged. He said, but he also likes your newspaper idea as it has a little bit of style to it. And he is looking at you in sort of a curious way, like he's trying to figure out what to make of you.
And Shelley smiles just a little bit at the praise. My mind, it's a funny sort of place. Never know what's going to pop up in here.
Are you sure you weren't in the trenches a few years ago planning a raid on enemy lines? You seem to have a mind for this sort of thing.
She just kind of chuckles and blushes. No. I was busy designing light bulbs and electrical circuits. I assure you, if it had been me on the line, the war would have been short.
He's smiling, but you can see the Irishman's kind of frowning. He's not terribly impressed. He kind of folds his arms, and you can see he's getting a little impatient. But the Englishman's smiling. Well, as I see it, we have two major issues to resolve before this ambush can be effectively carried out. First, we have to choose the ground on which we're going to pull the ambush, and when and where, I suppose, is an easy way to put it. The other is we have to find a way to be certain of our target's movements. Both of these seem to be tricky propositions.
Sarah doesn't have a phone, does she?
She does not.
We need someone posted north of London at a place with a phone who can be contacted and can come up here and let us know when he's on the move. We don't have any way of knowing, but as long as we're north of him, we're ahead of him, right?
The Naze is to the east.
To the east. Well, then we... is it north and east or just east?
A little bit north. It's north-northeast. I mean, sorry, east-northeast. It's more east than north. But it is a bit to the north, too. But if he were to leave... he says, if he were to leave London and you had to be notified, you would not catch him if you were to go straight there.
You're right. She looks over at Thaddeus and Natalia. I think maybe we need to be in London.
Either we need to be in London or we need to be by the area where we're going to ambush him.
You're right. Maybe finding a place on the Naze. Maybe... Oh gosh, it's risky. To stay at a hotel on Walton on the Naze, but... someone might recognize us.
Yes, if we are in London and we find out he is leaving, it would be suspicious for us to tail him in a car.
Yeah, and we want to be in front of him if possible.
Yes.
Is there a town, a large city or something in between London and Wal?
There's Colchester, which is uh, it looks like maybe 20 miles west of Walton. That's a large enough place.
How does that sound?
We could stay there. We could wait for the anticipated phone call. Then quickly head towards the Miser house. But I think we need to figure out the position. She looks at there are at least 2 ways they can get to this place, judging by the roads. She's gonna point some out. Either we need to head them off at that intersection or slightly above, more towards the gate. Um, I do not know if there's anyone inside this gate, which is a concern. Or we have to have something set up, and she'll point kind of at this intersection here. There, though, only problem with this is it is going to be difficult to contact anyone. She kind of thinks, looking at the map.
You're right. We need to set up a place, and Shelley tries to figure out the route that Gavigan took, but it's probably, I don't think she rolled well enough on her navigation to know,
No,
exactly
she
the
de-
back roads he took.
Yep, she definitely would not know.
So the only way to know for sure would be to put it north of that intersection. And she looks around for inputs or disagreements.
The Englishman says, well, certainly someone will have to scout that position prior to the ambush. I don't think it wise to wait to the last minute. I'm not comfortable putting my men at risk at a site we've not established has good cover.
Fair. So that's another thing that needs to get done. Is that something your men can do?
I can certainly have someone look, yes. Though, of course, as you pointed out, that is only a road heading up to his house. That makes it a little obvious if anyone notices that we're poking about. But I'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I suggest staying back as far as you can if you can use binoculars to get a good look at the area.
Yes.
But I'll leave that to your expertise.
He just nods.
Okay. So, Thaddeus, were we headed to London today?
Yes, if we I imagine we can do that today, and there should be enough daylight left.
I think so. I mean, it's still just after breakfast.
And I'll join the two of you so I may talk to Philip.
Yes, the Englishman rises from the table, and so does the Irishman after him, and he says, clearly we'll need further discussion once there's more concrete information to be had. From our end, assuming the funding comes through, we will have our men at the ready. It seems like a reasonable staging point would be the Colchester area.
We just need to find a place where we have telephone access.
I'm sure we can solve that problem.
Yes, that one does seem like one of the less tricky ones.
Well, and then I guess we're agreed we will meet again.
He nods and puts his hand out to shake your hands.
Yeah, I should go ahead and shake his hand, and then while he's busy with the others, and pour himself another drink.
Shelley will reach out to shake their hands a little timidly.
Yeah, the Englishman takes your hand. The Irishman acts like he didn't see your hand being put out. But the Englishman says, it was a pleasure to meet you. He says, I hope we all survive this little engagement.
Yes, I'll drink to that.
As do I. And don't worry yourself about the money. She looks at Thaddeus. He'll come through.
He looks at him and says, I've no doubt of it. And he says, Sarah, thank you very much for hosting us and our guests here. And you can see she kind of appears at the kitchen door and just kind of nods. And he goes into the kitchen with her for a minute. The Irishman actually does. And you can hear them talk in low tones while the Englishman goes out, and their men kind of, there were 3 men. They all kind of gather up, and then the Irishman joins them. And they pile in their little open-top truck and drive away. And I'm going to call a brief break.
Okay.
Short intermission. And we're back. All right. So, the 2 gentlemen, the 2 IRA gentlemen have left. It is, still just mid-morning. And it seems like you 2 are going to take your somewhat renovated vehicle back to London.
I think all 3 of us are going.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay. Alan's gonna stay behind and take care of some chores.
Yeah. Natalia tries to find him to say bye.
Yeah, he says bye. It's a little awkward. It's not really a warm goodbye like some of the ones you've had. But yeah, you're not really quite sure what's going on in his head right now.
Yeah.
So you drive back to London.
How's the car doing? She'll, during a good
Yeah.
flat stretch, kind of try to
Why
test its speed, acceleration, maneuverability.
try out a mechanical repair check for me, and I'll give you a bonus die. You had extra time and care. Oh, very nice indeed. Yeah, you have. Let's say you found some simple things that were. It just needed some maintenance. And you knew exactly what to do, and this thing is purring now. So you're pretty happy, I would say, with the result. Yes, it's a Batmobile now. It has little machine guns in the front now. And how did those get there?
It always had them. Shelley just found them.
That's right. So I'd say she's very happy about that.
Yeah, Shelley seems to be enjoying the drive. Seems very pleased with herself. Every once in a while, she just kind of puts her foot on the accelerator and gasses it down the road.
It's handling well too. I mean, it needed some tightening up, in the steering mechanisms and all that. So you've given it some good work.
Natalia is fairly quiet on the ride, just kind of looking out the window.
Thaddeus is nipping at his whiskey.
Jeez. I'm gonna make you start rolling for liver poisoning or something. Man. Yeah. We'll have to talk about what that should look like. Because you've been hitting it hard. Okay. So, well, give me a Constitution check there, Thaddeus. And I'll give you a bonus die because you're an experienced drinker.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. You get to town and you're a little tipsy, certainly. Your speech slurs a little bit, which happens to you sometimes. You're not having one of your better drinking days.
That's all going uphill from here.
That's right. All right, so what's the first order of business? The bank?
Yeah, the bank.
Okay.
Shelley would probably just drop him off and then drop Natalia off and then go run her errand.
All right. Why don't you give me, first of all, Thaddeus, a charm check and an accounting check. And the charm, actually, both of them are going to have a penalty die. Yeah, that would be a fail on the charm and a fail on the accounting. Okay, so,
would it matter if I put some points into the charm?
if you spent 2 luck, you would No, it wouldn't actually, because it's a 76.
Gotcha.
So
yeah,
you
no, it
failed
wouldn't.
by a lot. Yeah. So yeah, it's not going to help at all. Okay, so you spend some time there, trying to. Tell you what, if you're willing to spend the time, which I guess you will, are you willing to spend the rest of the afternoon trying to expedite this?
Yeah,
if you are, I'll turn it into straight dice on both.
He'd spend as long as possible to expedite it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll say your charm was successful. The accounting is by far not. I mean, this is not you're not used to having to handle any of the details of this. You're counting on your people back in New York to handle the details, but you're trying to do what you can to move it along. So the bank is trying to be helpful. There is a chance that the money might clear by tomorrow. That's Thursday. Or I'm sorry, is it tomorrow? Yes, it's Wednesday today. So it might clear by tomorrow. That's not a certainty, but they recommend that you come back in the afternoon tomorrow, and hopefully they'll have your money ready for you. If not, certainly by Friday.
And he will agree to that and make his way to sitting area waiting for everybody else to get done and come back and pick him up and continue drinking his whiskey, I guess.
Okay. One thing I do want to point out, you have noticed, or that is, you've become aware of, well, a bunch of your things that are missing now because they're still left behind at the hotel. I don't know if you care about any of that, but just to, it would be in all of your faces, I guess, when you're staying at the safe house, that you don't have all of the things. Yes, you're Teddy.
Yeah, how far away was the bank from the hotel?
It's probably a 15-minute taxi ride.
Gotcha. Yeah, he would, he would do that because the taxi might go unnoticed and he might be able to get his stuff and go back to the bank and wait for the ride
Okay.
with the suitcases.
All right. So you take a taxi over there. Oh, Thad. All right, you go to the hotel, and there is a valet, not valet, but a doorman. He comes out with an umbrella and walks you inside. And
Yeah,
the fellow behind the counter greets you. Oh, Mr. Pepin, you've come back.
Yes. I do remember that. I think I left some stuff here.
You did indeed. We took the liberty of gathering up your things for you.
I do appreciate it. And do I owe any money still, or is it all paid up?
He said, well, you are a day behind, sir. Were you intending to extend your stay with us?
No, I'll go ahead and settle the balance and collect my things. We are taking more of a vacation than I expected originally, so we're going to be visiting some of the sites elsewhere.
I see. I'm sorry to hear that, sir, but I'm sure you'll enjoy your stay wherever you decide to take up new residence.
Yes.
He says, if you would have a seat over there, sir, I'll go and have your things brought to you. He says there's a few cases.
Yes. I do have a taxi. I'm assuming that it would be able to take.
Did you tell the taxi to wait for you? Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. So he has he goes to the back, and a waiter comes out with a drink for you, a little bit of tea time stuff for you, which he obviously sent out for you while you wait.
Dennis would smell it and smell the lack of whiskey and add a little. Do appreciate the good lad, and he'll tip him.
Of course, sir. Of course. Thank you. And he goes. And the maitre, the hotelier comes back out, and he says, they're fetching your bags, sir. I'll have some people bring them out to your taxi as soon as they're ready. And he just goes back to his desk.
Dennis would stand up and kind of go wait by the door, keep an eye on the taxi, and waiting for his luggage.
Okay. All right. You wait. It's a couple minutes have gone by.
Daddy's checking his pocket watch and kind of looking around, waiting to see what he sees.
All right. Well, you can make a spot hidden if you'd like.
I mean, it probably wouldn't matter. I'm probably not gonna see nothing.
Whatever.
I have also little faith in my spot hidden talent. Ooh, but I could push that one, right? No, yeah.
You could push it. How would you push? Or you could just spend the luck.
I'll spend the luck.
All right, that's 3 points. You see that the hotelier is just kind of looking at you and kind of smiling every now and then. And you just start to get the sense that there's just something odd about the way he's looking at you here every so often. He kind of smiles, and you've dealt with him before, and he's definitely being a little odd.
Well, that is kind of at that point seeing him, and Thaddeus would make it a point that he's noticing him, and kind of checking his watch and looking at him again.
Yes, he sees that you're getting a little impatient, and he says, I'm sure it's just a few more minutes, sir. Most of the staff is occupied with other matters at the moment. I'm sure they'll be out as soon as possible.
A few minutes, you say?
He says, if you like, I can bring you out something else. If that was not enough, he kind of glances at your barely touched tea.
No, that'd be fine. I'm more of in a hurry. I got the schedule to keep.
I see. I'll go and hurry them along if you'd like.
Yes, time waits for no man.
And he just kind of nods and goes back into the back.
At this point, Thaddeus is checking his pocket watch again.
Yeah, you've been a total of about 10 minutes now.
Seems like this is taking forever.
And I'll consider your spot hidden to succeed there. You see a little down the street, because you're standing in the doorway, you can see down the street a car has stopped and 3 men have gotten out, and you recognize Arthur again.
Oh boy. Thaddeus sees him and he kind of looks over at the maitre d' or
where he was.
Yeah.
He's not there anymore.
And then whatever way he walked off to, Thaddeus is gonna just start walking off that way as well.
Yeah, he went to the back room behind the desk.
And that's where Thaddeus is going.
Okay. You walk into the room and you can see him just kind of tidying up in there. And he says, yes, I'm sorry. Would you mind waiting outside?
Outside, you say? You mean where you have somebody coming to meet me?
The staff is coming to meet you, sir, with your goods very soon. I assure you. I just checked on them.
And at this point, Thaddeus is gonna show him his gun. I don't think this their staff. I do wish you didn't do what you just did.
I'm quite sure I don't know what you're talking about, sir. He's nervously looking at the revealed pistol, which I assume you haven't pulled out. You've just kind of shown him with a hand on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
You make an intimidate check with a bonus die for me. Okay. Yeah, you're not the most intimidating fellow, but that's okay. You have a gun.
yes.
So he says, "I really must ask you to wait out front, sir."
Thaddeus kind of looks around the room.
There's
Is
a side door that leads out. You're not sure where, but it goes somewhere else in the hotel.
at this point, Thaddeus is not wanting to leave this man to leave a trail of where Thaddeus is trying to escape off to. So
Yeah,
that
and you can see through thinly draped. The curtains are kind of thin lace. You can see through the curtains out onto the street the three men coming, and Arthur's kind of motioning one of them to like go around to the back of the hotel, and one of them peels off, and you can see the two of them are going to go in through the front door, Arthur and the other one.
looks like your friends are here. And at this point,
Yeah, he just kind of
Thaddeus is gonna go ahead and grab the guy by the. I think me and you ought to take a walk.
if you insist, sir.
Oh, I do. And in the off chance that when your friends decides to get a little frisky, I will use you as a shield, I guess you could say.
I assure you, sir, I don't know what you're talking about.
And with that, Thaddeus is gonna kind of grab him by the arm and take him through the other door where it would lead off into the hotel.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's this back room here is the kitchen. So you go through the kitchen now. You can see there. There's not a lot going on because it's kind of not quite dinner time, but they're sort of prepping the kitchen for dinner.
Yeah, he'd keep making his way back, trying not to be too obvious, but definitely jerking the other guy around with him.
Oh, he's increasingly nervous. You can see he's not happy about all this. You get a couple of minor odd stares from the kitchen staff, but they're pretty busy right now getting things set up, so they're not paying much attention to you.
Excellent.
What is your intent? Are you looking for a way out of the hotel, or are you looking for a way deeper back into the hotel?
Seeing that he pointed another guy to go off towards the back, there's only one guy back there, so he's looking to go out the back way.
Okay. All right. So it's pretty clear that there is a back exit that leaves the building out through the back of the kitchen.
Alright, that's the way Thaddeus would pull the guy with him.
Okay.
And before he exits the door, he's gonna make the other guy go in front of him in case there's somebody on the other side.
Okay. So yes, you step out into an alley. It is the alley that the other guy went into. You see You see the guy. He is, let's say, he's probably about 20 yards away from you. He's kind of hurrying down the alley in your direction.
Does he notice us?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you step out into you open the door and the hotelier kind of steps tentatively out into the alley.
All right. At this point, with the maitre d' in front of him, Thaddeus is actually gonna pull out the pistol and hide it behind the guy.
Okay.
But he's also gonna push it in the guy's back so that way he knows it's there.
All right. This guy's coming closer. His hands are empty at the moment.
That's fine.
And he definitely sees you. And you can see this moment of recognition. It's obvious that he knows who you are. Like there's a visible reaction when he sees you. His head kind of perks up, and you can see him reach behind his back for something.
Thaddeus at that point is gonna bring the gun out from behind the guy and point it at. Not so fast, there, chap.
He stops with his hand still behind his back, but he stops. And he just kind of cocks his head to the side and makes kind of a little frown. And he says, "You need to come with me, sir. Don't make this harder than it has to be."
Oh, I do believe I won't be coming with you today. I'd hate to break it to you, but I'm quite on a schedule. And besides, your friend here is pretty telling, and I've seen you coming from a block away.
The hotelier says, I'm not his friend. I have nothing to do with this, please."
Well, either way, you're gonna stand in between me and him, just in case this gentleman here has a pistol he wants to shoot at me.
I'll let you make a... Okay, so you're gonna try to go by him with the guy between you and him?
Yeah, I mean, Thaddeus is gonna be pointing a gun, and so, like, if he's gonna actually just walk at the guy. If the guy doesn't move out of his way, then we'll go from there.
As you're walking by, he says, "You're making a big mistake, sir. You could have had it end very quickly. Now you're gonna have to take the long way."
Well, you see, I do like being around a longer time than a quick time, I guess you could say.
Suit yourself. No one hides for long.
Yes. That is right. Nobody does hide for long, do they? And he's gonna keep trying to move past him.
Oh yeah, you go past him.
And at that point, Thaddeus would actually still be sidestepping, so you keep an eye on him with the pistol pointed at him as he makes his way towards the street.
Make a dexterity check for me.
Oh, I'm falling down.
Maneuvering this... No, not just maneuvering this guy and keeping
Right.
it fluid and all that.
Well, if all goes well, he doesn't mind losing the hotel guy. It was only for a minute. Dex, you say?
Yeah, not quite. Okay. When you're passing, the guy is lagging a little behind you, And the guy, let's see. Make a spot hidden. I'll give you 2 bonus dice. Okay. You see him reaching, he's coming out with a gun. There's this moment where you guys are almost like at, I wouldn't call it point blank, but you're within like 3 yards of each other. And the hotelier is not directly between the two of you, and he goes for his gun at that moment.
I guess I'll just go ahead and shoot him.
Okay.
Seems like good logic there.
Give me an initiative check, and you will get to add 50 to yours because you got the gun trained on him. So you could do really badly if you're super unlucky.
Yeah,
But probably not.
Where's the...
No, sorry, initiative, not int. That's intelligence.
Where's my initiative? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Duh.
Okay, very good. Yes, you shoot. Now, the question is, do you want to take a single shot, or do you want to squeeze out more shots? If you want to try to shoot once, I will consider that you have been aiming, and I will give you a bonus die. Because the guy, you've got the guy in your sights.
Yeah, he's only gonna shoot one.
Yeah, if you want to shoot more than once, it's gonna be a penalty die for each additional shot. So.
Yeah, at this point, he's only gonna do one shot. He doesn't want to make too much of a spectacle.
Okay. Go ahead then. That's a hit, but unfortunately, you just grazed him.
Oh boy.
So, his gun comes up and he's taking a quick shot at you. I'm going to give him a penalty die because of his fast draw. Oh, sorry, I did not give him a gun. Just a second.
Brought a fist to a gun.
Oh, he hits.
He's a good shot.
He is a good shot.
Didn't expect him to be that well.
And yeah, he hits you right in the gut. So now everything kind of spins and you go down. I am going to let you make a luck check to see if there are passerbys at the end. You're pretty close to the street, so there may be inconvenient witnesses.
Alright, I got just a look.
Okay. Yes. So you hear a door opening, and you're getting very weak and dizzy, and the guy you hear the hotelier kind of, "Oh, good God," and he kind of runs, and you hear the man put a couple bullets into his back, and then he walks over to you, and kind of looks you over, and you hear Arthur's voice kind of weakly, dimly, like distant. saying, "Is he dead?" And the guy says, "He's not gonna make it. Let's go." And you are left there.
He's just gonna be staring at the sky.
Yeah, there you have a vague memory, and then before you pass out, of a person's face, a mustachioed man with an umbrella, kind of bending over you and talking to you, and you have no idea what he's saying because it just comes across like, and you actually kind of the rain is coming right down on your face, and it's almost in slow motion. You kind of see the raindrops, just like they look like they're gonna fall right in your eye and just missing, and you kind of keep seeing the rain, and then you pass out.
Oh, that went well.
Oh, fuck. Shit.
Okay.
Yeah. Bad ideas all around, guys. I'm sorry.
All right, Thad, you need to make a Constitution check for me here.
Come on, Thaddeus. Get at us now. Hey!
Oh, okay, you're very lucky, my friend.
You will not die.
Holy
You
shit.
are very lucky. Yes.
The whiskey has fortified.
That's right. You're bleeding whiskey instead of blood. Oh, you're gonna be so fucking weak, though. All right. So, Shelly, you get your equipment. Natalia, you're looking up our friend
Philip.
Philip. Yep. And what did you want to say to Philip? Yeah, let's cut over to Philip. Leave Thaddeus lying there in the rain.
So Natalia would go to Philip's home.
Yeah, it's just a hotel. He doesn't live in London.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he'd go to the hotel if there's like a concierge or something. See if she can find out what his room number is.
Mhm.
Unless he's given it to her, but...
Yeah. He didn't probably tell her exactly what room number, but the guy at the desk kind of it's a much less fancy hotel than the Ritz. But he says that he'll go and deliver a message for you if you'd like him to come out. He says young ladies are not allowed in gentlemen's rooms here.
Of course, This is fine if he comes out and I speak to him here.
So yeah, he goes and gets him. Or not, he doesn't, but he sends a boy to go get him. And he does come out. And he says, "Oh, you've come. What can I do for you?"
Let us go for a walk or something. This is not something I'd like many to overhear.
Of course. And he gets an umbrella and walks you out into the rain.
as they're walking, of course Natalia's gonna keep eyes out just in case. Um, she looks to Philip. There's something very important that we need you to do for us. Unfortunately, we're no longer at the Ritz. There's been some issues that have come up um, related to related to the dreams that you've been having. Some of the people involved.
I see.
I. We need you to keep an eye on a man. I do not know if you know the name Gavigan at all.
Of course.
Works at. Yes, of course. You are friends with Alice. Of course, you know this name.
Yes, not a very pleasant man.
No. We need you to keep eyes on him, his movements, that kind of thing. We are expecting him to leave the city in a matter of days, and we need to know once he leaves London.
All right. Well, I know what he looks like, certainly, and I can try to keep an eye on him.
Good. There's going to be a... let me just get this just clear out of character. Are we going to have him do the signaling, or was it going to be just calling us once he leaves?
I think you were going to try to arrange for the call, right?
Okay.
Or well, that's up to you. I mean, it depends on how you wanted to do it. But my understanding is you guys will probably end up being headquartered in that town.
Colchester?
Yes, in Colchester. You know, with a phone number. So you'll have to find out what that is to give it to him so that he knows how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, she'll again speak to Philip as they're walking. We will be in the town of Colchester. I hope we will be doing this soon. Probably within the next day. I will come back and contact you again.
I see. How will you contact me if I'm watching him? And how will I know if he's leaving town?
Talia pauses. There are a few places that Gavigan goes. She'll describe the car that he has. If he takes his car and he does not go to the Benhue Foundation, the Diamondback Club, or his home, and again she'll kind of give the address of his home. If he's not going to one of those locations, we assume that he is leaving the city, especially in the next few days. What I would like you to do you have I'm assuming the hotel that you're staying at has a phone of some sort, yes?
Yes, yes.
Good. I am going to need that number once we get to the location that we're setting up in. I will contact you, give you the number to call us at, and once he takes his vehicle and once he leaves, if he's not going to one of those places, let us know right away.
I'll do what I can, yes.
Okay.
Is there anything I should know?
Do not let on that you are spying on him. This is the most important.
I would assume as much. All right then.
Okay, good. This is most important, Philip. We need to know when he's leaving. Gavigan is It's not just that he is an unpleasant individual, he is a horrible man, Philip. There's many things that he has done that are unforgivable.
I see. Well, I'm sure there's a lot to your story, but I can also see that you're in a hurry.
Yes, there's not too much time to explain, and I think it would take a while to fully flesh out everything. But after this, on Monday, I will get back in touch with you. Um, we can discuss everything further, and we can talk more about the dreams that you've been having. Because
I'd like that.
good, because there's more that I have found out. Um, and I would like to, with your permission, analyze what you've been dreaming and something, if you can, um, something I'd like you to do is write down what you've been dreaming when you wake up. Keep notes.
All right. I can do that.
Good, good. Thank you, Philip. She,
All
put
right.
a hand on his shoulder. This, thank you.
He nods. You can see he's a little perplexed, but he just nods and says, "You can count on me, Natalia."
She nods. Good. My compatriot is going to be picking me up very soon. But I will get into contact with you as soon as possible at your hotel.
All right. So you can get the number at the hotel when
Perfect.
you part ways there.
Oh yeah, and she'll head back to the hotel and wait for Shelley to come and pick her up.
Okay. Or you yeah, wherever you were gonna rendezvous.
Oh yeah, that.
Not the hotel.
Not the hotel.
Yeah. All right. Well, Shelley gets her stuff done. It doesn't take her that long to find something. You get a couple of odd looks that you are buying this heavy equipment, but no problem there.
Yeah, she trundles off to the car, arms stacked high with butane and welders,
Yeah.
goggles.
Whistling a happy tune.
Gets in the car. She's gonna reverse, her original. She doesn't know how long it's gonna take Thad at the bank.
Yeah.
She stops to pick up Nat first.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did it go?
Nat gets into the front seat, looks to Shelley. It went well. He is in agreement. He will assist us once we get to the hotel. I will be in contact with him, and from there we will at least know when Gavigan's leaving the city.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yes. How long do you think it will take Thaddeus at the bank?
Well, let's go see if he's ready.
Alright, we might as well wait with him. Maybe it'll help to have two impatient women. Maybe he can get his money faster.
Maybe he'll stay a little more sober with two people watching him.
I highly doubt that.
Doubt it. She just smiles and then takes off back toward the bank.
Okay. You go to the bank.
And she finds a place to park and walks in, looks around for Thaddeus.
And obviously he's not there.
After a few minutes of looking around, she'd, find a teller and ask where the bank manager was, that they were looking for a friend of theirs.
Oh yeah, the bank manager definitely knows exactly who you're talking to because he just dealt with him for several hours. Yeah, he informs you that the business was concluded, and he had him summon a taxi for him.
A taxi? Did he say where he was going?
He said he needed a taxi to. I don't know if Thaddeus would have said. He might have.
He was drunk.
He's a little drunk. He probably said something. He said something about a hotel.
A hotel?
Shelley's eyebrows furrow, and she looks over at Natalia.
Oh. Natalia looks to Shelley. You don't think...
Oh, God, I hope not. Well, thank you, sir. We'll go look for him there. She hustles back out to the car.
Okay.
Natalia follows quickly, getting in the passengers. I really hope that... I hope he's just picking up his things.
Well,
Shit.
yes, but so reckless. You... Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
I don't know why we thought it was a good idea to leave him alone.
We have to go back there. I don't know what else to do.
We have to... We can handle whatever's there. We escaped the first time. We'll get Thaddeus, we'll get these things. We'll take his damn drink for a few weeks. And we'll get out of there, okay?
Okay. Shelley starts rummaging around in her purse. When they went to do their stakeout at the restaurant, she had found herself a pair of opera glasses. Does she still have those?
Sure.
Okay. She pulls them out and hands them to Natalia. I'm going to park a bit away from the hotel, just to make sure everything's okay. Take a look and see if you notice anything unusual when we get there.
Alright. If not, I am going inside.
Alright.
Stay in the
Shelley
car,
bites.
Shelley, when we get there.
She looks at Natalia and just gives a little nod. I don't want to go back there. But she pulls away from the curb. It's over to the plaza. To the Ritz.
Well, yes. As you approach, clearly there is a hubbub out front of the hotel. And when you park and use your opera glasses to see, you can see that there are several bobbies around, kind of keeping the public back from an alley right next to the hotel.
Oh no.
Oh, no. Shelley, stay inside. You keep watch, okay? I'll go figure out if this is it, okay?
Shelley puts her hand on Natalia's arm. Try to ask a bystander. Try to avoid the cops if you can.
Alright. Natalia will hand Shelley the opera glasses, nodding to her before exiting the car and quickly walking over to the group of bystanders.
Okay.
Shelley quickly brings the opera glasses up to her own face and watches Natalia recedes into the crowd.
Yeah, it's not a huge crowd. There's definitely people milling around, looking down the alley.
Natalia will tap one person's shoulder. Excuse me, what exactly is going on?
Well, some bloke got shot. And you can see a mother, like, with an umbrella. The rain has stopped now, so she's got an umbrella kind of, furled up, and she's walking with a young boy, maybe 7 or 8, and she kind of looks down the alley and reacts immediately and like covers her son's eye and kind of rushes him off so he can't see.
Yeah. Oh, Natalia's... she's going to try and get a closer look.
Okay. And you hear someone saying, "He's dead. I think he's dead."
Yeah, with that, she'll kind of push past people and try to get down, try to see what exactly is going on. Kind of panic all over her face, thinking it's Thaddeus.
Yeah, there are a couple of police officers who are keeping anyone from going into the alley. Yes, there's this moment where you're pretty scared, but then you can see that the body has not Thaddeus's clothes. It's more like, you kind of, I'm not sure you recognize it as the hotelier himself, but it's certainly somebody that looks like, they're wearing the uniform of the hotel.
She'll be fairly panicked, walking up, more storming up than anything, and she catches a glimpse, seeing it's not a very expensive suit, seeing it's someone else, not Thaddeus. There's a bit of a relief that washes over her. Still kind of a sadness for the person who's dead, but she'll kind of seeing that in the alley, she'll then kind of make her way towards the entrance of the Ritz and head inside, seeing if she can find one of the employees.
Okay. You see inside the lobby there are now a couple of other police officers there. And actually you recognize Inspector Barrington. And he is in the middle of questioning somebody.
She'll, before going to Barrington, is there any of the hotel staff around?
Certainly.
She'll grab one, roughly by the arm. Have you seen Mr. Pepin? Mr. Thaddeus Pepin? At all?
Pepin. Make a luck check.
Hey.
Yes, he was here earlier. Came for his luggage.
Where is he now?
I don't know.
You don't know? Did he get his luggage?
Well, there was a shooting, in case you hadn't heard. I'm afraid Mr. Sedgwick is dead. And he looks a little dazed.
I apologize about your, and she'd know Cedric, right?
You remember him, yeah.
Yeah.
Sedgwick.
I apologize about your coworker, but, I really need to find Mr. Pepin.
Well, I'm not sure where he is now, I'm afraid.
She'll sigh and roughly let go of the hotel staff, before kind of storming up to Barrington,
Okay.
and she'll
He's making notes. Yes.
tap him on the arm. Inspector.
I'm sorry. You see him look at you, and it takes him a moment to remember who you are. Oh, yes.
Yes, one of Miss Hall's friends.
Indeed. And an associate of Mr. Pepin.
Yes, have you seen him?
I'm afraid I did. He's in rather bad shape.
What do you mean? Where is he?
He was shot. He's at hospital.
Yeah, the color kind of drains from Natalia's face.
They rushed him off. It's a bit touch and go, I'm afraid.
Which hospital?
He tells you. I don't know. Yeah, but he gives you the name of the hospital.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to ask you a few questions.
I just, I will be right back.
No. I'm afraid. I'm going to have to ask you some questions. If you would be so kind as to wait over there till I'm done with this gentleman.
Natalia, you can see she's frustrated and balls up her fist and... Fine, just please make it quick. You must understand, I have to see how Mr. Pepin's doing.
Okay. He doesn't. He just kind of. He acknowledges that he heard you with just like a little nod, but then he goes back to questioning the witness.
Yeah, she'll wait around the hotel lobby, seeing if she can get by the door, and wave to Shelley.
I guess Shelley would probably eventually see her waving from inside the hotel. You saw her go in, so I guess you'd be watching. And yeah, you would see Shelley sort of waving at the door.
So she's like gesturing me to approach, or just kind of doing a wave? What is Natalia?
Hi.
So Natalia's just kind of waving, and you see her kind of hold up a finger. She seems to kind of think how to further signal Shelley. She does eventually kind of wave her and seems to be beckoning her.
Shelley will pull right up in front of the hotel.
Okay.
She'll stay in the car so Natalia can approach.
Yeah, Barrington's kind of busy with the guy. She'll quickly kind of run outside, run up to the passenger side window to talk to
Make
Shelley.
a sneak check with a bonus die. He doesn't even look at you, and he just he just says, "Young lady, I asked if you would stay a moment. I'm almost done."
Of course. And she'll kind of stop, look to Shelley, and again, beckon her inside really quickly.
Alright, Shelley will pause for a moment and then nod, and then she's gonna find someplace else to park.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to try to approach through the crowd, trying not to draw attention to herself, seeing if she can get up to Natalia without really catching anyone's
She's getting
attention.
close to Natalia when Inspector Barrington turns and says, "Now, Miss Vescovia, was it?"
Yes. And she'll kind of quickly turn to Shelley. She sees her kind of make like a pushing away motion.
Shelley's gonna, just kind of cough and turn around so that her face is turned.
He's kind of looking to try to see if he can like who you're talking to. Let's see. Oh yes, he says, "Ah, Miss Franken, if you join us, please."
Shelley is going to sigh, look around, and she's actually going to dash into the alley,
Oh my.
and then she just kind of flattens her back against the wall.
He
Looks
yells
quite
at
panicked.
one of his coppers to. He says, "Go get that woman, bring her to
I
me."
mean, they're in the alley, right?
Oh no, they're in the lobby.
Oh, they're in the lobby.
Sorry. Okay, so if you want to amend that, yes, they're
Yes.
standing inside the hotel lobby.
Does
That's where-
Shelley see anybody that looks like Gavigan's men hanging around, seeing what's going to happen?
You can make a spot hidden check, and I'll let you know if that translates into anything. Maybe. There are a couple of suspicious-looking characters just on the fringe of the crowd that could be watching you.
Okay. And are they're looking my way. They said Franken, the gig's up there. So she'll, looking around nervously, she'll walk in, spot these people that it could just be her paranoia, it could be them. She'll look at them directly, and she'll make an okay symbol with her hand, like she's giving them some sort of secret.
To the couple of guys in the crowd?
Yeah,
Okay.
like she's still trying to give Gavigan the impression that she's working for him. So
Okay.
as much as she can muddy those waters, she's going to.
All right.
And then she'll go to Inspector Barrington.
All right. He says, "Oh." He says, "Have you ladies been here the whole time?"
No, we arrived not very long ago. We were doing some errands and heard that Mr. Pepin had been here.
Well, I'm afraid there's a few questions regarding Mr. Pepin and why he might be shot.
Ask any questions you need. I don't know why he'd be shot.
You've no idea
No.
what he was doing in an alley back behind the hotel.
Look, I understand Mr. Pepin has some proclivities that I do not fully comprehend.
Proclivities, you say?
Yes, he is a very eccentric individual sometimes, and maybe he was in an alleyway to get inspiration for maybe his next business purchase. I don't know exactly what he does.
Ms. Vescovia, you understand that's quite a far-fetched theory you're putting forward.
It is true, but
Oh, Natalia, it could have been... You know, we went and spoke with that woman in the Arab section of town.
Yes?
Well, we didn't really get anywhere, but we did get some hard looks. Do you think it could have been, I don't know, related to that?
it might have been. Yes.
Perhaps we gave
Hard looks, you say?
someone
He's
in
right.
that neighborhood got worried. I don't know.
Got worried about what, do you suppose?
That we were talking to the widow of a man that was murdered.
Yes. And you
Yes,
think
my-
perhaps that's what this is? Mm-hmm. Why would they shoot the hotelier? Any ideas there?
Perhaps he was trying to protect Mr. Pepin,
Did you know him?
only in passing.
In passing.
He seemed quite nice.
Yes. I understand that you were staying here several days.
Indeed we were.
Yes, yes. They also mentioned that you were no longer staying here and that your luggage was being held for you.
Yes, we had decided to stay somewhere else, somewhere more, how did Mr. Pepin put it?
Homely?
Authentic.
Oh.
There was an incident 2 days ago, I believe it was. 3 days ago, was it? Actually, he looks at his notepad. 3 days ago. A little scuffle here at the hotel. Your names came up in that as well. At least yours did, Ms. Vescovia.
And what exactly do these notes say?
Well, perhaps you'd like to tell me.
She pauses. Well, I do believe that occasionally I get mistaken for others. I think it is blonde hair.
Oh, no. These were hotel staff that recognized you.
Oh, I'm not talking about that. I am talking about a gentleman who decided to come after me.
Oh, so they were coming after you. That was the impression that was given.
Yes, I do believe they mistaken me for someone else, though. Someone...
In the same way they may have mistaken Mr. Pepin for someone?
She paused. I don't know why they were after me, Mr. Barrington.
It really we just might have angered someone by accident during that entire excursion. I don't know. I wasn't there for this.
I see. Well,
Is your city normally so violent?
not at all, actually. Which is why I'm concerned with this. And shooting someone in the back is not really the modus operandi of the sort of scruffy characters you'd encounter in the Arab section, I'm afraid.
Oh, I really wouldn't know the difference.
I suppose you wouldn't.
May I ask this, Inspector Barrington? We have been, well, the victims of people chasing us, and our dear friend Mr. Pepin has been the victim of a shooting. I understand collecting information to figure out who did this, but I can't help but feel we're under some sort of suspicion from you.
Well, until I have all the facts, I have to keep an open mind.
Yes, I do not believe anyone would send someone to attack themselves.
Of course not. Of course not. But I do intend to understand what is going on here and what the motive for a murder is.
Maybe it will take another 3 years to figure it out.
It might. It might at that. Hopefully it won't. In any case, I think it would be best to take you down to the station and we can discuss this in greater detail when I'm through with the witnesses here.
We could meet you there. We really need to check on Mr. Pepin if he's in as dire condition as he is.
I dare
wouldn't want
say
him to
your
go
presence
alone.
is not going to assist the doctors in any way. I can certainly have word sent.
But if he passes and we're not there, We won't
Well,
be able to say goodbye.
I'm sure they're taking extreme measures with him at the moment. I hear he was in a very, very bad way.
If you say he's in a bad way, then let us visit him. You're saying they have everything in order. He could die.
You can make a charm check, and I'll give you a bonus die for that, because
Shelly's gonna start to cry.
yes. Yeah. He says, I'm quite sure that whatever happens, there's little you can do about it. And, yes. Well, I also would spare you the sight of him. I heard it was a particularly gruesome wound. He says, if you would be so kind again as to take a seat over there, and I'll finish up with these people and we can go to the station. I assure you, I will have someone head over to hospital and keep us apprised of Mr. Pepin's condition.
Oh, very well.
Fine.
Shelly still sniffles.
Yeah. He seems a little unmoved by feminine tears. You're not really sure why, but it does not seem to, he seems rather inured to it.
As Natalia leaves, she looks to Shelley, saying loud enough for Barrington to hear. I'm sure Miss Hall will be very impressed with the police work of Inspector Barrington.
Letting one of her close friends die alone.
Yes, it is deeply saddening.
I'll let you try a psychology check on that one.
Yeah!
You see he starts to question, call another witness over, but you can see he's rather distressed now, and distracted. And he talks to this person for about a minute, and then you see him say, if you'll excuse me a moment, and he comes over and he says, perhaps I was a bit hasty with you just now. He says, if you'll give me your word that you'll show up later to my office, you know where it is, then perhaps it is best if you go to the hospital yourself and check in on your friend.
Yes. Before we go, I am going to send word to Alice, and she walks over to the hotel person.
Mm-hmm.
And she scribbles out a couple of notes with 2 different addresses on them,
Mm-hmm.
and asks for them to be delivered. One of them is to Gavigan's residence.
Oh my.
And one of them is to Alice.
Okay. We could discuss what is contained in those little notes.
It's not. I don't care if Natalia knows. Shelley sends Gavigan a note that says, 1 down, 1 to go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And to Alice.
She'll just something.
Hi.
Hope you're well.
Hope you're well.
Sim got hurt. Just something quick. It's pretty much meaningless babble. And
Okay. All right.
she'll send it to her. I mean, she'll let Alice know that Thaddeus got hurt, but she hopes she's well and understands her need to stay uninvolved and respects that.
Okay. All right, then we will stop here.
I guess Miss Hall's gonna be very disappointed in you.